We're deep in the jungle, and everything looks pretty peaceful as we watch a group of apes calmly walking around, not bothering anyone. Until suddenly, a group of hunters appears from the trees, armed with rifles and axes, ready to catch at least one of them. Sadly, they succeed by using a trap hidden in the ground. The poor ape gets pulled into the air by a net and lands in a metal cage, which the hunters quickly lock up. After a rough journey, the captured ape ends up in a room that looks a lot like a madhouse. There's a collar keeping her chained to the wall like a dog, and she's playing one of those kids' games where you stack rings on a pyramid. That's when a doctor walks in, and we find out this ape is actually a female, and they call her Bright Eyes. She is incredibly smart and quick with her hands, solving the puzzle in a way that's pretty amazing for an ape.
Oh my God.
She nails it in just 20 moves. The doctor is so excited that he rushes through the facility to the boss's office, trying to convince him they're ready to move from testing on apes to testing on humans.
We're good to go.
What's obvious is that it's serious business, with a lot of money involved. Naturally, the boss is cautious, but the doctor is determined, and finally, the boss agrees.
All right, but I'll need to see all the research.
You got it.
Later, the doctor, now in a suit and tie, is giving a presentation about what they've achieved with Bright Eyes. Turns out, she wasn't that smart at first, but after they injected her with a substance that genetically alters brain cells to regenerate. The idea is that this substance could be the cure for Alzheimer's.
We call it the cure to Alzheimer's.
When the doctor says this, the rest of the guys in suits look shocked. Back at the lab, Bright Eyes caretakers are getting ready for another round of testing, but the smart ape isn't happy about it. She grabs one of the caretaker's arms so hard it almost breaks. But luckily, another caretaker steps in to help. It's clear Bright Eyes is going through something. The caretakers are still trying to get Bright Eyes to calm down by offering her favorite soda, but it's just a trick. Bright Eyes doesn't find it funny at all and starts attacking them, trying to escape back to her cell. When they can't handle her, they pull out a tranquilizer gun. Bright Eyes gets even more out of control, destroying the whole lab while running away. The emergency protocol kicks in, and chaos breaks loose, all while the doctor is upstairs giving his big presentation. But the real action starts when, just as they're about to vote on human testing, and Bright Eyes smashes through the big window, scaring everyone in the room, until a cop shoots a full round of bullets into her, killing the poor ape. Everything's gone wrong now, and they're trying to convince the boss not to shut down the whole program, which would mean putting all the animals in the study to sleep.
Mr. Jacobs, I am begging you not to do this.
Look, find the most cost-effective way to put those apes down.
I can't do that.
You're the chimpanzee. Handle it.
The doctor is also trying to change the boss's mind, but it's pointless. No one wants to invest any more money, especially after the disaster that just happened. But the doctor must have a solid reputation because, after a heated argument, the boss gives him one more chance to go back to square one and keep working on the cure.
Go back to the drawing board on the 112. Start again. Find a way to get there before someone else does.
Oh, and we finally learn his name, Will Rodman. Back at the trashed lab, we find something really surprising. In Bright Eye's cell, there's a little baby ape who has no idea his mom isn't coming back. Turns out she was pregnant, and none of the scientists knew.
She wasn't being aggressive, she was just being protective?
So, as somebody's got to look after this little guy, and guess who's the lucky one? Yep, you guessed it, Dr. Will Rodman. Though he's not exactly thrilled about it. In the middle of a dramatic rainstorm, the little orphaned ape arrives at his new home with his new human dad. When they get there, Will talks for a minute with a woman who's been helping take care of his father. He says goodbye to her.
Good night.
Then heads into a room where we see an old man playing the piano badly. That's Will's dad. He remembers Will saying today was important, something about a chemistry test.
You thought I'd forget. You have a big test today, right? Chemistry.
Will doesn't say much, just asks his dad if he wants to see something.
Want to see something?
What?
And since he does, they walk over to the box where the baby ape is. Will's dad is instantly charmed by the little guy and even notices he has what looks like a birthmark. Will doesn't think it's a big deal, but the moment he turns to the fridge, his dad is already holding the baby up like it's the Lion King and calls him Caesar. Will warns him not to get too attached, but that wouldn't be easy. Later that night, the baby ape won't stop crying. So Will gets up and decides to make a sauna in the bathroom to keep the little guy warm. It ends up being a really sweet moment, and you can tell it softens Will's tough exterior a little. The next morning, Will's dad is nervously looking for his car keys, but Will stops him, telling him he can't drive anymore. The confusion on the old man's face is hard to miss, and it's clear something's off. Meanwhile, the baby ape is sitting in his little chair, drinking from a bottle.
Well, look at this.
and it looks like he's super smart too.
He's a smart one, isn't he?
See those flashes of green? 2 years later, and the baby ape isn't a baby anymore. His name is Caesar now, and he's showing signs of advanced intelligence. He's also become quite the little acrobat around the house. By age 3, Caesar is already using sign language. Turns out, the same drug that affected his mom got passed to him through the umbilical cord, which is why he's so smart now. Meanwhile, Will's dad is having a heated argument with his caregiver, and Will has to step in before things get worse. Anyway, back to the lab. Will is still working, but when no one's around, he manages to sneak out a few samples. He hides them in the fridge next to some beers. Later that night, he prepares the sample and injects it into his dad. The next morning, his dad is like a new person, playing the piano perfectly. Looks like it worked. Meanwhile, Caesar is up to his own adventures. He sees some kids riding bikes outside and wants to join them. So, he finds a way to sneak out. But by the time Will and his dad notice, poor Caesar is being chased by an angry neighbor with a bat. Will gets there just in time to save him.
If I see that animal anywhere near my house or my kids again,
It won't happen again.
damn right it won't.
And they take a shaken and slightly hurt Caesar back home. To treat him, Will takes Caesar to a vet at the zoo. While they're there, Caesar tries to get Will to flirt with the vet.
Okay, what's she saying now?
He thinks that you and I should have dinner together. I know.
She agrees to see him again, but instead of a simple date, she ends up going straight to Will's place. There, they show her the room they've built for Caesar. She warns Will that Caesar is going to grow into a big, strong ape, but Will says he'd never hurt anyone.
I love chimpanzees. I'm also afraid of them.
The date turns into a fun family trip outdoors, and Caesar is beyond excited to finally play in a big open space. He's amazed to climb a huge tree for the first time. And now, cue a fun montage of Caesar jumping from branch to branch growing up. Five years later, Caesar is like a moody teenage ape. After getting into a showdown with a German shepherd,
Caesar.
he's grumpy and refuses to sit in the car's trunk. He decides to sit in the front seat like everyone else. Using sign language, he tells Will he feels like they're treating him like a pet. But Will reassures him that he's not a pet, he's his son.
You're not a pet. I'm your father.
Caesar has more complicated questions, though, like why he looks so different. And here comes the tough conversation. Caesar, you're adopted.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.
Caesar is clearly heartbroken after finding out the truth.
Yeah, my mother's dead. She was given medicine, like the medicine I give to Charles. She passed it on to you. That's why you're so smart.
But he's not the only one shocked. The vet didn't know either, and confronts Will about it. She warns him that things are starting to go downhill.
I designed the 112 for repair, but Caesar's gone way beyond that.
He's strong, Will, but he's trying to control things that are not meant to be controlled.
Meanwhile, Caesar is in front of the mirror flexing his muscles. Yeah, he's growing into a big guy. The next morning, it's breakfast time. On the menu, eggs and toast for the humans and a banana feast for the apes. Caesar is not too happy about that, but something else happens. Charles is trying to eat his eggs, but he's struggling with his utensils. And guess who steps in to correct him? Caesar. This worries Will, and he starts digging into the issue. Turns out, Charles's antibodies are attacking the drug like it's a buffet, and the disease is about to come back stronger. And it does. Charles gets into a car that isn't even his and crashes it into the one in front, and the one in the back, over and over. Total neighborhood chaos breaks out. Charles is confused, and the neighbor starts yelling at him. But neither of them realizes that a very protective ape is watching everything from the window upstairs, and he is getting really mad. Then suddenly, ape attack. Caesar leaps at the man and starts swatting him hard. The guy manages to escape, but Caesar is quicker. Now the chase is on, and it's going up a level. Caesar, furious, jumps on the guy and bites his finger clean off. Bon appetit, Caesar. The whole street witnesses the horrifying scene, and Caesar runs back to Charles, scared, without even chewing the finger. Now animal control has Caesar, and Will tries to get him back. They offer a new play space for him, and he seems to like it. Will isn't so convinced, but he doesn't have many options. It's a court order. When Caesar realizes it's basically a cage, though, his excitement fades, and this goodbye is honestly making us tear up.
You're gonna stay here now.
We have to go.
As soon as Will and his girlfriend leave, a voice starts guiding Caesar through a maze, and the play space is gone. In its place is a terrifying monkey prison. Hundreds of apes are locked up in tiny cages, barely a meter by a meter. Meanwhile, Will is still trying to get his furry son back through legal means, but it's not working. At the same time, Charles's illness is getting worse. Will feels the pressure to act, and fast. Back at the lab, he confronts his boss and tries to convince him to improve the drug. Will even reveals he's been testing it on his own father.
The 112 is dangerous, Will, and it doesn't work.
I treated my father with it. It does work.
This catches the boss's interest, and finally, he gives the green light for more trials.
I want you to start testing the revised 112 on chimps ASAP. Okay. I'll give you whatever you need.
In the prison where they're keeping Caesar, they really treat the apes like animals. Oh wait, yeah, I just realized what I said. And well, what can you expect when the guy in charge is Draco Malfoy from Harry Potter?
Draco Malfoy.
Caesar's not the type to eat that junk, so he throws it right back in Draco's face, which instantly makes him the popular guy around there. Draco doesn't take it well and gets back at him by blasting him with a high-pressure hose.
You'll learn who's boss soon enough.
At night, Caesar acts like a real prisoner and scratches a drawing on the wall. Does it look familiar? It's the window from his room, the one he misses so much. Back at the lab, the evaluations with the apes start again. They might be smart scientists, but not smart enough to avoid making the same mistakes. They pick one of the new test monkeys and take him to a room to be the first to get the serum. But when they start injecting him, the beast wakes up. Though for a moment, some gas leaks out, and Franklin, remember him? The caretaker from the beginning, accidentally inhales it. Back at the horrible shelter for orphaned apes, it's time to stretch their legs, so they let everyone out to play. But the problem is, this is Caesar's first time being around others of his kind. After rejecting a ball pass, one of the group starts ripping off his clothes. That's how things go in this place. Then, a chase and a fight start against the new guy. Until Draco ends it with some tranquilizers. In the lab, the new test subject has developed the ability to write, but he doesn't look friendly at all. Franklin is looking a bit sick, but let's hope it's nothing serious. Back to Caesar. When he wakes up, he talks in sign language to another ape who somehow also knows it. This new ape warns him not to show intelligence because humans don't like it. Later, Will visits Caesar and sees that he's hurt.
You hurt? That's bullshit.
Hey, Alan! What's the problem here?
If I find out he's been mistreated in any way, I'll have this place shut down.
But he can't do anything without a court order, which he still hasn't received. So he has to leave Caesar there, making Caesar lose more hope of ever returning home.
Okay.
Now they're let out again, and Caesar climbs to the top of a tree, realizing he can see the whole city from up there. Later in the cages, Draco shows up with his friends to show off his private zoo, and tries to impress them. And since this guy is the worst, he starts messing with the apes using a cattle prod. Even though his co-worker tells him to leave them alone, this jerk doesn't listen. But when one of the guys tries to act tough with Caesar, Caesar grabs him, not to hurt him, but to take the knife he had, planning to use it later as a key. Caesar manages to unlock the door and frees Brock, a huge gorilla who's never been out of his cage. Caesar gains Brock's trust, then frees the ape who messed with him earlier, not to get revenge, but to teach him a lesson, becoming the new alpha. Now, the roles are starting to change. At the same time, Will is preparing the new serum for his father, who, in a rare moment of clarity, asks him not to do it. Sadly, the next morning, Charles doesn't wake up. Then he goes to the lab and sees that the experiments are continuing without his permission, because Steven, the boss, believes the serum is ready for human testing. Our protagonist insists they need to run more tests, but they threaten him with working without him, and accuse him of using the stolen serum.
You gave your own father an experimental drug. I could finish your career with one phone call.
Thank you the trouble, I quit.
Later, Franklin goes to his co-worker's house, but he's very sick. When he doesn't come out, the annoying neighbor shows up. Franklin sneezes on him before leaving.
Get out of here! I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
On the other side of the city, our protagonist visits the shelter to beat up the subject in order to free his friend. But when he goes to find him, Caesar no longer wants to leave, especially after seeing the leash. So, Will steps back, allowing the other apes to praise their new alpha. Later that night, Caesar gives a cookie to Rocket before freeing him and assigning him another task, distributing the remaining cookies. He just wants the apes to stick together, but it's complicated since they're just animals and don't have much intelligence. As a result, after spotting a key to a door, he escapes, making his way to the house where he steals some new serums. He later releases them in the shelter, so they'll affect everyone else, meaning now all the others will be intelligent too. The next day, he sees everyone has green eyes thanks to the serum. When the owner leaves, he realizes the apes are acting strangely, but he doesn't quite notice that Caesar is actually teaching them sign language. Meanwhile, Franklin's landlord enters his apartment and discovers that he's actually dead. Back at the shelter, it's time for the chimps to return to their cages, but when Draco sees the alpha still outside, he goes to get him with his cattle prod and starts harassing him until Caesar stops him and shouts a clear and understandable "No!" No! This leaves Draco stunned. Caesar then knocks him out, making him kiss the ground. Now declared the definitive alpha, Caesar begins to free his kind and even defends Rodney because he knows he always treated them well. However, Draco wakes up, but ends up electrocuting himself. Now begins the mass escape of the apes. Will realizes something is wrong, so he heads to the shelter, where he finds vials of the serum and some dead bodies as well. He discovers that Rodney is still alive, and he tells him that Caesar spoke.
What happened? He spoke. Your ape. He spoke.
They call the police to check the footage of what happened. Meanwhile, the pack breaks into the lab to free all the test subjects just as Steven arrives at the building, where he runs to escape everyone and flees with the police. Later, the alpha frees everyone in the zoo before heading to the city, armed with spears to fend off anyone who tries to stop them, as their goal is the forest. They arrive at the bridge where the police are preparing a blockade to stop them. But seeing the commotion, Caesar halts their advance, splitting them up, sending some over and others under to surround them. Meanwhile, Will arrives on the other side but is stopped because it's too dangerous. However, his girlfriend creates a distraction so he can search for his friend, knowing the police won't spare the lives of the chimps. Mounted guards show up, trying to stop them, even knowing they can't. Plus, Caesar orders that no one should be killed. They flip a bus to use it as a shield and set an ambush, successfully taking control of the bridge. However, when Will reaches them, Steven's helicopter appears with a machine gun. Caesar throws a chain to take it down, but as the police shoot at him, Brock sacrifices himself to save his leader, causing the helicopter to explode. Then, seeing that Steven is still alive, he leaves him there for someone else to finish off. The group continues onward while Will takes a car to reach the forest, only to be attacked by one of the apes until his friend protects him, knowing he won't do anything wrong. Then, our protagonist seizes the chance to ask him to end this by returning home with him, so he can protect him from whatever happens. But seeing that all his kind are there, Caesar approaches his former master to say goodbye.
Caesar is home.
Okay. Caesar's home.
And so, the ape is finally free to lead his new family to liberty, vowing never to let any human force them into a cage again. However, before it all wraps up, we see Will's annoying neighbor heading to the airport because he's a pilot. But since he's sick just like Franklin, he'll end up spreading the virus, causing the end of humanity. This was Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Don't forget to like, comment on what other movies you want to see on the channel, subscribe, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the next recaps.